Almost all construction projects involve some form of excavation. Because of this, working in or near an excavation may be such a regular part of your day that you could easily forget how dangerous it can be. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA, recognizes excavation and trenching as one of the most hazardous construction operations. Each year, approximately 400 workers die due to trench and excavation accidents, and more than 6,500 workers are injured in trench-related accidents. To improve the situation, OSHA has developed safety requirements specified in Standard 29 CFR 1926.650 through 652, aimed at increasing safety and reducing the severity and frequency of incidents and accidents. OSHA's standard covers all open excavations in the ground, including trenches. The requirements cover things such as ways to classify soils, proper protection methods, and the performance criteria the protection systems must meet. As we've noted, trenching and excavation work are inherently dangerous. However, many accidents are completely preventable. Statistics show that many on-the-job accidents can be traced back to inadequate initial planning. Trying to correct mistakes after you've started working will not only throw your work off schedule and inflate costs, but it will also increase the possibility of an excavation failure. You really can't approach safety issues with a "we'll fix it when we need to" attitude. Safety precautions for trenches and excavations should be part of job planning. Now let's consider OSHA's precautionary requirements to be performed before excavation and trenching can begin. Because excavation projects vary considerably, there are several site-specific conditions to consider, so you can decide how to perform the work in the safest and most efficient way. First, consider the weather and seasonal conditions at the site. For example, heavy rain can turn a dry work site into a dangerous, sloppy mud hole. A second condition that should be factored in is the presence of surface and groundwater. An accumulation of water can cause flooding or undermine the sides of the excavation. Another site-specific condition is vehicle traffic. For example, if you're working on a trenching project along a public roadway, you should wear a highly visible work vest to prevent being hit, implement protective barriers or warning signs, or both, and finally, a flagger may be needed when safe conditions cannot be maintained. In addition, the high traffic could create vibrations in the excavation, leading to a cave-in. A fourth site-specific condition is overhead and underground utilities. Striking these causes many injuries and fatalities. That's why before opening an excavation, you need to know the location of underground installations. The last thing you want to do is hit underground utility lines and pipes, things such as sewer, telephone, fuel, electric, or water lines. Hitting a power line could create the potential for electrocution, while hitting a water line could create a drowning hazard, for instance. The exact locations of installations can be found by contacting the local Utilities Protection Center and getting them marked. Always call before you dig by dialing the National Utility Location Number 811. If the utility company cannot locate their exact location, proceed with caution if you are permitted to use detection equipment or other acceptable means to locate utility installations. And if you encounter an underground installation while digging, it should be removed by authorized individuals or protected and properly supported. Now that we've covered what's under the ground, let's consider what's on top. With any excavation, you always need to pay attention to the nearness and physical condition of structures around the site. For example, if not properly planned, excavation activities can disturb a building next to the excavation and cause structural failure or ground collapse. It's also easy to forget that overhead power lines can contact digging and boom equipment, so stay alert and maintain at least 10 feet from power lines at a minimum. A final site-specific condition is soil type. Some soils are more stable than others. The strength and stability of excavation and trench sides depend heavily on the type of soil. Even hard soils can be unstable when excavating. The type of soil present is also a determining factor for selecting protective systems when making your initial plans. OSHA categorizes soil and rock deposits into 4 types in decreasing order of stability as stable rock, Type A soil, Type B soil, and Type C soil. The categories are based on an analysis of the properties, like their frictional capacity and the performance characteristics of the soil. If you're unsure of the type of soil you're digging in, the rule of thumb is to assume it is the least stable, Type C soil. Another OSHA requirement is that a competent person inspect trenches or excavations and the surrounding area on a daily basis. After all, conditions at work sites are never constant because there's constant movement of materials and people. Some of the dangerous conditions the competent person should be on the lookout for are possible cave-in hazards, failures in the protective systems and equipment, and hazardous atmospheres. If an unsafe condition is spotted, work must be stopped immediately and the area evacuated until corrective measures have been taken. Nobody can deny the hazards you're exposed to when working on a project that involves excavation and trenching, but with thorough planning, you can enter an excavation or trench with peace of mind. Now let's pause here so you can answer some practice questions before resuming the training.